everyone, and welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our apologies for some technical difficulties this morning, but we've got some improvised solutions to do our service today. So welcome to you all. My name is Susanne. I have your announcements to start our service this morning. Wednesday evening meditations continue both on Zoom and in person here in our space with Rev Wayne. This is for beginners and intermediates every Wednesday night from 7:30 to 8:30. We continue to collect sandwiches for Club Sandwich, where you can feed local hungry folks by dropping off sandwiches that you've made of any type, of any amount, to MCC near Broadview and Girard. You can contact me for more info. We have a couple more weeks to enjoy Chris Emmanuel's Love is Love series, which you can see all around. Hope you'll take the time to go upstairs and check out his work before the 15th of December. And you'll see just outside of the building, Christmas trees are for sale. Buy a tree to support the Out of the Cold program. It's just out here on Jackman. And now an announcement for Rev Wayne.
Okay, so this is probably our last journey, and the journey is to Tuscany, and it's a mindful journey that we've taken. This will be the 15th one, I think. I hope that you'll be interested and consider coming, and all the information is on our website and also at Worldwide Quest, the travel agency we're using. They're lovely journeys.
One final announcement. We had our silent auction. Thank you for everyone who bought things. Those items are now sitting in Wayne's desk. So if anyone here today, in his office, so anyone here today, please pick up your items from Wayne's office. Please ask Luann and she'll do the sorting. And if for those of you who aren't here, Hala will be in the office tomorrow from 10 till 5. So anyone who wants to drop by, give Hala a call, she'll let you in, and then we'll find your items for you. Will you be here tomorrow? No, so yeah, you'll contact Hala if you need to get those items for tomorrow.
And next Sunday we are back on Zoom. Our theme will be food matters and human rights. Our minister, Rev Wayne Walder, will be providing our message of inspiration, and we have a guest musician joining us, violinist Georgia Hathaway.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation hybrid service, live and on Zoom. Thank you for joining us. My name is David Renzetti, and I will be your virtual service weaver this morning. Our minister is the Reverend Wayne Walder, and our music director is Susanne Maziarz. They are both here in our sanctuary in the Danforth Common. Zee Getchell facilitates our Sunday Child and Caregiver program, and he will share a time for all ages from home. We also have Mike Kosowski, who does Zoom web hosting duties, and we thank all of them. Some Zoom etiquette, just remember, please stay muted and keep chat open for readings, and please don't send chat messages or personal messages to everyone during the service. It's like, closed captioning is also available now. It's on the bottom of your screen. It's the third from the right, if you want to click on that. You can make the chat size bigger by pressing Command+ on Macs or Control+ on PCs. This service is being recorded for the public, both on YouTube and on our webpage. Personal moments will be edited out. If you have privacy concerns on Zoom, you can turn off your camera and you can rename yourself. Now that the introductions and technical instructions are out of the way, we have nowhere to go and nothing else to do. I would please just ask you to remember that you have your devices on airplane mode or silent. This is our threshold moment. Let us enter sacred space together. Let us sense the water within and flow into our collective pool. Let our service begin now. As I light the chalice, I ask you to sing.
Light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
And now for our prelude. Susanne, would you like to introduce it?
I'd love to. Thanks, Dave. Just so you know, because of our tech issues, the sync is a little out with the video and the singing. So you might notice that there's nothing you can do today to fix it, but people at home will enjoy on Zoom. Our prelude this morning is by the Spirit Choir. We recorded a version of Love Call Me Home by Peggy Seeger. It contains themes both of water and friendship and togetherness, and how our friends can carry us through hard times just like water flows. Please enjoy.
When the waters are deep, friends carry me over. When I cry in my sleep, love call me home. Time ferry me down the river, friends carry me safely over. Life tend me on my journey, love call me home. When the waters are cold, friends carry me over. When I'm losing my hold, love call me home. Time ferry me down the river, friends carry me safely over. Life tend me on my journey, love call me home. When I'm weary and cannot swim, friends carry me over. Open your arms and take me in, love call me home. Time ferry me down the river, friends carry me safely over. Life tend me on my journey, love call me home. Take the gift I bring, friends carry me over. Deep within me life is singing, love call me home. Time ferry me down the river, friends carry me safely over. Life tend me on my journey, love call me home. Life offers a chance for friends to carry us over. Time will stop or dance forever, love call me home. Time ferry me down the river, friends carry me safely over. Life tend me on my journey, love call me home.
was lovely. Good morning and welcome. Today is our highly anticipated water service. I'd like to mention right away to those of you at home, if you'd like to participate in the water blessing, you'll need a bowl of water and maybe a towel as well. So if you could get that at some point over the next 10-15 minutes. Today, almost all of us are either here or in our homes. And let us remember that these homes and this property here is on the land, the traditional land and territories of the Wendat, the Anishinabe, the Mississauga, the Haudenosaunee nations. Indigenous people have been acknowledging land and water at the start of their gatherings for time immemorial. Using and participating in a land acknowledgement is a way to recognize the enduring presence and resilience of Indigenous peoples. It is also a reminder to us that we are all accountable to these relationships. If you are visiting for the first time, a welcome. Please stay around after service. If you don't go to a breakout room on Zoom, our minister will be in a room and can answer your questions. Our mission here at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of the world. Our theme for December is Food for the Soul, and today is our water communion. To me, water is pure magic. In my personal belief system, water is proof of God. Do you know that there's no scientific consensus on where the water on earth came from? Just saying. And a little physics lesson, spiritual physics lesson. When things get hotter, the electrons move around. They get bigger. They're still the same weight, so they're less dense. Anything that warms gets bigger. If things are cooled, the electrons get closer together. The physical item gets smaller. Smaller, same weight, it's heavier. Every substance ever tested in the universe that we have tested, if you heat it, it gets bigger. It gets lighter. If you cool it, it gets denser. Now, by that law, ice is frozen, water is not. Ice must sink to the bottom of water. Ice must sink to the bottom of water. In grade 10 physics class, when I put my hand up and asked the teacher about this contradiction, he looked in the back of the textbook and said some words which contradicted another one of Newton's laws. I pointed this out. He went to the secondary explanation and pointed that out. And I said that also disobeys a law. So I was confused. My teacher got very exasperated and he said, well, think about it this way, David. If ice didn't float, it would be virtually impossible for life to exist on Earth. Thank you, Mr. Becker, for proving God to me. Traditionally, at this time in our service, we greet our neighbors. So for those of you on Zoom, I'm going to ask you to unmute your device, go to gallery mode, and greet your neighbors that way. For those of us here, greet yourselves in ways you feel comfortable with, is what I'd like to say. Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Morning.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Ani Bojo.
Good morning.
Here to give hug.
Everybody.
Good
morning,
Hi.
my birthday friend.
Morning.
Hey, Michelle. Happy birthday.
Hi, John.
Thank you.
Sarah. Julie.
Hi,
Sigrid. Happy birthday,
Dolly.
Hi, Susan.
Hello,
Hi,
Susan.
how are you?
Hi, Sigrid.
Hi, Yvette.
Hi.
Hi, John. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Mel.
Here's your boot nut cat.
Hi, Sarah.
Yes.
Hey, everybody in the sanctuary.
Where's the boot nut cat?
Right front paw.
David Zalakar.
Hey, Dave.
Hi,
Dave,
Hi,
we see
Hey.
you. We see you. Wave.
Hi, Ellie.
1, 2, 3.
Fran. Hey, Fred.
Hi.
Hi, Sigrid.
Hi.
Hi, Bruce and Natalie.
Hey, Yvette.
Hi.
I now invite you to join me in reading our opening words, which will now appear on your screen. If you're on a phone on Zoom and don't know the words, just listen to my reading. Let us cast a circle, the Sarah space here. Let's cast a circle, the chair space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness. For the world to change, we must craft it ourselves. And now we have our opening song.
I'm going to pass the microphone to Kim, who's joining us via Zoom to lead us in our opening song today.
So this is an Anishinabe water song. And the first line in English, water we love you, water we thank you, water we respect you. For the folks that want to try the Anishinaabe Moan, the first line is Nibi Gija Ge Igo. Next one is Gi Migwechewe Ni Mi Go. Last line, Gija We Ni Mi Go. Nibe Giza Ge Igo. Gi Migwechewe Ni Mi Go. Gija we ni mi go. Ni be giza ge go. Gi mi gwecho we ni mi go. Gija we ni mi go. Ni be Giza ge go, Gimi gwechu ni mi go, Gija we ni mi go. Miigwech, everybody.
Oh, I wonder. Where did all that water go? And also, where does all this water come from? Oh, I wish I knew.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about water and the journeys that we share with it. There's no question that water is super important to us. We need it to live, after all. Most of our planet is covered with water, and even our bodies are mostly made of water. Now, how many of you have ever wondered, like my hippo friend here, where the water we use comes from, or where it goes after it goes down the drain? Well, to start, our water here in Toronto comes from just south of us. That's right, we get our water straight from Lake Ontario. It gets pulled up from the lake and taken to water treatment plants, where it is cleaned, treated, filtered, and made safe to drink, cook, and wash ourselves with. From there, the water is moved through pumping stations, which help push the water throughout the city. The pumping stations pump the water into large storage tanks called reservoirs. From the reservoirs, or straight from the pumping stations, depending on where you are in Toronto, the water is then sent into the pipes of our homes, shops, and buildings. This map, which should be coming up on your screen in just a moment, shows that there are 4 water treatment plants in Toronto, all right down at the lake. It also shows the pumping stations as circles, the underground reservoirs as rectangles, and the above ground reservoirs as those big round water tanks that you may have seen throughout the city. As you can tell, the further north you are in Toronto, the farther your water has to travel to get to you. So that's where our water comes from. But where does it go? What happens to the water that goes down our drains and our toilets? Well, I'll tell you. The same thing happens to both of them. All of the drains in our houses lead to big sanitary sewers underground, where they're met by the drains from other buildings and houses, and all that water and waste is carried to one of the city's wastewater treatment plants. There are 4 of these throughout the city as well. And as you can tell by this next map, if you can tell where you live, you can tell which wastewater plant your waste will go to. For example, it looks like all of the waste from our congregational building, where many of you are, goes to the Ashbridges Bay plant. From those plants, our wastewater is cleaned, the solids are filtered out of it, and it's treated again before being sent back to, you guessed it, Lake Ontario, where it's eventually pulled back up through the water system, like we talked about earlier, and back into our houses. So you see, here in Toronto, we recycle our water after we use it. Oh, wow! That's really cool! I didn't know we recycle our water. Oh yeah, Hippo, we recycle and reuse our water. But what happens to the solids that are filtered out at the waste plants? Well, believe it or not, a lot of that gets recycled too, but it happens in different ways, and that is a story for another time. For now, thank you all for listening. Bye, everybody!
Joys and concerns today will be replaced with our water ceremony. People at home, we ask you to raise a hand as you pour your collected water into your bowl. Tell us the significance of this. Those of us who are here will come one at a time and pour water into our chalice.
But Dave, before we do that, let's talk about why we do it.
Sure.
Okay? So the water that's in here has been blessed by 21 of our communities. 21 of our, of our times of having a water blessing or a water communion. It means that the water in here has come from every ocean in our world, come from many of the rivers in our world, and certainly have come from every of the Great Lakes. Every year we shared our journeys and we poured water into this common bowl, and we've kept that water so that it comes every year back to us. Then we've used the water to bless ourselves. So as I prepared this service, I hoped we would take our water communion a little deeper. New space, new time. To go deeper, we can consider larger concepts that we as Unitarian Universalists often shy away from. What I mean is, can we remember our 7th principle, the interconnected web of all existence, of which we are a part? And maybe we can imagine that when we speak. The interconnectedness can be compared to how we feel about God. Just like in the book, The Hidden Life of Trees, any interconnected web is usually conscious. And maybe we can remember that our web is conscious too. It's not just under the ground. It's in our words. It's in the water. It's in who we are, our relationships. The web of interconnectedness touches each of us. It moves through our hearts and minds, moves through the plants and the trees, the air and the animals we share the planet with. I believe our interconnected web has awareness that we aren't even conscious of. The life around us as we grow together and the energy for the growth that really can be considered as love. All of us have felt this. Larger concepts can help us not only speak well about feeling and experiences that are hard to talk about, they can help us understand them. In Buddhism, it's Buddha for the insight, it's Dharma for the talk, and it's Sangha for the community that interrelates the talk. Sometimes our talk is wonderful and others can experience that insight and use it. And also the community can correct us when we're just out there. For example, think about how hard it is to talk about truth. Yet if we acknowledge that truth is a paradox, one day a human life is beautiful, it's easy, it's understandable and lovely, and that same life on another day is miserable, in pain and depressed. They're both true. When we can talk about the complexity of the world and our lives, it opens up our understanding of God or truth or even meaning. Keeping them in mind makes it easier to practice our rituals in our services. And this can help us understand the reality we live in and the nuances that are so important to the living of a great human life. We come here, I believe, to help us make truth and God understandable, however we imagine that. Spiritual practice is practice that helps us learn about these subtle aspects of our lives. We practice the rituals so we can stretch our understanding a little bit. Joys and concerns, the rituals we did last week, healing rituals, forgiveness rituals, water communion, fire rituals, are opportunities for us to open up and share what we feel and what we know. When we practice these rituals, we have the opportunity to speak about our experience and hear the experience of others. This is important because none of us have the truth all by ourselves. Seeing a journey in grief through the eyes of a widow helps us learn how we might handle grief when it touches our soul. And if we see joy come after a depression, we can learn how we might use joy in our own lives to get places we've never dreamed of. To do that, of course, we can tell our stories and relate our day-to-day experiences. And because we're normal human beings, we can pour the water as we come up here and tell where we've been this summer, or where we would have liked to have been this summer. But I wonder if we can ask respectfully if you might tell us some understandings about the inner journeys you've taken, internal journeys. Do you know fear or joy better? Has the interconnected web of all existence made you feel a part of it? Has life opened your heart a bit? What I'm suggesting is that when you come up here and speak, and we'll ask those visiting from the internet first, try to tell us something that moved your heart or soul this year, a journey. Let it be in simple words.
And I'm going to ask him now to introduce our meditation video.
The Nibi song was written by Doreen Day, and that song was created when she used to go to pick up her grandson from school, and he asked her, "Nokomis, how come we don't have a song in Anishinabe?" And so she wrote the song and then took it to an Anishinabe Moan teacher to translate it. And then they got their water song, their Nibi song. And she in turn gifted it for all of the water walkers, the great Nokomis who did pass away, who walked the Great Lakes for years, Josephine Mandamin. And as an honor of also the children in neighborhood that did the children's water walk. And it's a great honor to be able to know that this song continues in the spirit of all of those water walkers.
Give
a web of existence that you're a part of, blessing you, holding you, touching you. We can do that now. Here in the sanctuary, we'll call people up and pour the water over their hands, and I'll offer a blessing if you wish it, quietly just to you. For you at home, we're going to do that first. Have a little water nearby, maybe in a bowl, so you can touch it and feel it. What we'll do here is I'll have the water poured over my hands, and as I do pour the water, or Dave rather pours the water, pour the water at home over your hands. And as we do it, I wonder if we could all stand up and offer them our blessing. The camera is right over there, so you'd have to actually stand and turn and face that way. And then we'll pour the water here, and then we'll do a blessing for them. Why don't you stand up now if you would? And pour the water over your hands, the way that Dave is pouring it over mine. Every blessing, you know, is the act of allowing our truth to influence our subconscious mind. So let us bless the water so that it blesses us with healing, blesses us with peace, blesses us with connection. Let water cleanse us and help us to begin again. And maybe in that blessing, we'll care for the water too. Bless all of you online. Now, for those of you who can sit down, I hope you can come up and let me pour the water over your hands. Dave will give you a dry cloth here, and you can drop it off it and put it in the basket if you want. When I pour the water over your hands, I'll offer a quiet blessing, only if you want it. Just give me a nod or a no, and I'll know which one to do. It's a blessing given with the authority you have all given by coming to a place like this and asking for really some kind of ability to go on, to have meaning, to feel insight. And then when we're done, and the water's been blessed over our hands, let's be quiet and hold the sacred space for everyone else. You might consider it a meditation too, considering how we are, who we are, where we are, in a place that has been doing prayers and blessings for more than 100 years on this site. So Susanne, I don't know if you would be willing to play Holy Waters while we do this.
In these times of isolation, let's not forget that this congregation is a living entity, and like all living things, it must have nurture and sustenance. If you contribute by pre-authorized withdrawals, thank you. As we contribute to this life of our community, we affirm our lives within it. A link will be appearing in the chat now, and if you click on it, it'll take you right to our donations page. For those of you who are here physically, there is a single basket there on the pedestal, and please feel free to approach and donate that way. We will now pause, and Susanne will play.
Because we missed the gathering music this morning, I wonder if our tech desk, Mike, if you could post the lyrics for the gathering music up onto the screen now so we can sing it during the offering. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your giving. Thank you for your generosity. I'll ask Susanne to lead us in our closing song.
So I'd like to teach everyone a song that I learned in, the past month. It's a song by a Métis singer-songwriter named Andrea Maynard. She wrote this song as a giveaway song for all people to sing, for water keepers and life givers. She says, you may not have a water song, so here's one for you. Sing it with a prayerful heart. Sing it when you need it. Sing it when you visit the waters. I'll teach it to you. I'll sing it through once and then teach it line by line. We'll sing it a few times. May the waters of me Spirit. May the waters of me, hey, hey, let's try that together. May the waters of me, hey, hey, sing for the waters of you, hey, hey. Sing for the waters of you, hey, hey. I offer this prayer and this honoring song. I offer this prayer and this honoring song, so the waters right here renew. So the waters right here renew. Renew.
Thank you for that, Suzanne. Now I invite you to sing with our choir as we sing our extinguishing song.
Although our chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire with
I just want to leave you with a blessing that the water in your lives, not just the physical water, but the water that moves in you, that moves through you, that moves around you, hold you and bless you and make you feel that you are good and that you can do good. Bless you. For those of you who may not be staying after this, thank you very much for joining us. Everyone who remains here will be asked to either stay here to ask questions. I'll be here. I'll be sitting right over here. You can come up to me and ask me anything. I wonder if you'd like to have a little blessing maybe after the service. It might have been a little bit daunting to do it during the service, but if you would like to come up, or both of you would like to come up and do a little blessing, that would be wonderful. For those of you at home, you'll be asked to start into a breakout room to talk about a question. And the question might be, how would you describe an internal journey, kind of in a watery way? How would you talk about your internal journey that past year? So we have a tradition now of circling round and holding each other's hands, but we haven't been able to do that, and maybe it's not such a good idea still. So instead, for those of you who are on the internet, go into gallery view and unmute yourselves, and together, all of us, let's stand up and just look at each other and say Namaste, which means I salute the spirit within you, and you can do it several times. Namaste. 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 Namaste to all of you.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Our service is now ended. Please have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for coming. Go in peace.